something very different today, friends, because I am going to be building a pedal. And there's a reason behind this. First I'm going to show you what it is, and it's the whole kit. Just discard that and give you an idea. BC Dallas Treble Booster, based on a Rangemaster, but it is a silicon chipped affair, not germanium. And we have a number of components there. A board, a simple board, and the other components and pots there. We have the enclosure, like so, and some wire. And I'm not known for building pedals, it's not something I do, even though I have modded a couple. I've modded the odd tube screamer, and I've modded wall pedals to make them true bypass and put an LED on there so you know when they're on. And I thought I'd get into building something, and I did want a treble booster just to try out, but now I do have a Telecaster with a mini humbucker in there. Well, not mini humbucker, it's a single core size humbucker, which is a Seymour Duncan Hot Rails, but it is still quite a dark sounding guitar. So I thought I could do with some kind of treble booster, and instead of going out and paying stupid money for one, I thought I would look for a kit, and I found this kit, and you can buy them pre-built for 60 quid, or you can buy the kit for 30 quid. I thought I will go with the kit for 30 quid. So that's the way it goes, by the way. And we'll have the two buttons at the top, switch will be there, LED will be there, jack, power. So I'm going to go building this, and it shouldn't be too difficult, because the main board, or what you know as a PCB, is just a very small piece of, I don't even know if it's called breadboard. Very, very simple, like that. So all the components solder onto there, and various other bits and bobs. Switch, jacks, little bits of double-sided sticky padding to place certain components in certain places. Should there be two pots? Oh, but no, there's one pot, there's one two-way switch, two knobs. Oh, there should be, is it two knobs or one knob? One knob, one switch, that's right. Pot under the knob. There you go, we're getting there. Switch will be there. LED diode will be there, board inside, jack, like I say, it shouldn't be too difficult to build. Power, a little grommet there for the diode LED, I imagine that sits underneath like so, which it would do, so all very nice. Could even put that bit in there, couldn't we, just like so. So you get the idea, so it shouldn't be too difficult to build. Instructions comes in form of a PDF, which I'm going to stick on my laptop to build it. There's a wire, there's a sticker to go on top, and there's all the bits and bobs, transistors, resistors, whatever you need is going to be on there. And I'm going to enjoy building it, but I'm not going to do it right now. I just wanted to do an intro to this video just to show all the bits and bobs. I will have better light in here when I'm building it. I'll be turning my LED light around like so. So I can, is that the right way? This is probably the best way. There you go. Like so, I've plenty of light to work, I can do this at night time or whatever. So there you go, introduction to this BC Dallas Treble Booster build. I fancied a little break from guitars, so part 2, building a booster pedal. And I've got my components and my breadboard laid out on a piece of white paper so I can see what is what. I'm wearing my headset with it's a like a magnifying glass headset, so it magnifies everything I look at, so I can see everything. And very simple design. Here's the breadboard, and I need to install these components on the breadboard. I've got everything in front of me on a PDF on my iPad, like so. So I'm just going to have a quick look at where we are. Breadboard there. I need a 470k resistor, which is yellow, violet, black, orange, brown. That's this one, yellow. And where are we? Yellow, violet, black, orange, brown, which is this one. That goes between A2 and B2 on the breadboard. So we're just going to crack that in there. I've never built a pedal before. I have modified pedals, but I've never built a pedal, so bear with me while I just get used to placing components. I want to get them distributed quite evenly on the board, so it looks to be pretty central. And it's just about getting them on the board for now. I've not got my soldering iron out yet, so that's the first one. Then I need a 2.2k resistor, which is red, red, black, brown, brown, which I've placed everything in position and the way it needs to be. So let's just have a look at the picture. I'm going to copy exactly as it goes on the PDF. So this one goes this way. And it may be a little bit of trial and error getting things to go in properly. Oh, that's looking a bit better already. And to make sure everything's got enough space, so that's looking good. It's looking alright so far. Just checking everything. Very good. Third one, 68k resistor, blue, grey, black, red, brown. That goes diagonal. Just checking. That's not the right one, it's this one. Blue, grey, black, red, brown. That's going to go this way. So far so good. Last one, orange, white, black, brown, brown. Orange, white, black, brown, brown. Just try and keep it all nice and neat. I don't really want those crossing each other, so I'm going to just swap these lugs around a little, bring that this side. So we can just bring that over. Bear with me a second, guys. Don't want to make a pig's ear of anything. They don't need to be crossing, so there you go, that's neater. Same again with these two, we don't need them crossing, so we're just going to separate them this side. Something I could do off camera as well, just to keep everything neat. And that's looking pretty good. I will be checking everything before I solder anything down, obviously. Right, we have the 47 UF capacitor placed above the 3.9k resistor between A3 and B3. That's A3 and B3. Making sure the shorter leg of the capacitor is going into A3, which is the top. So the shorter leg at the top, we are going to place in there. Don't know how far down I need to place this, but I'm going to get it down as low as I can without touching anything, I think. That seems to be where I need it to be. That's looking pretty good, yeah. I'll take one of the 10 NF capacitors labelled 103J, which is this gubbins here. Yep. I'm going to place that between A4 and B4. Okay. So this is everything on the breadboard. I don't know how much room I've got with this, so I'm going to get things pretty close to the base, I think. That won't do where that is, it's too close to the top. don't know if that's good enough, but I don't like where I've placed that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten these legs out again. You're seeing this in a live, more or less live situation, so bear with me while I try and get it right. Okay. I'm thinking this kind of affair is going to work better. Just try and keep it neat and tidy. And I think that's much more. I think that's a lot neater than my first effort. So we seem to have everything on the breadboard ready to solder. Just check everything. I'll grab my soldering iron shortly and have a look. Oh, we've got another piece yet. We do have a BC184 transistor. Splay out the two outer legs, which I've done, and place that in positions B1, B2, B3 with the flat side facing outwards. That's toward me. That's this little gubbins here. Okay, and we are going 1, 2 and 3. I already spaced this out earlier to where I thought it should be, so what we're going to do is we're just going to splay that out as is. And that is pretty much everything done. I'm hoping that's low enough here, I'm sure it will be. So that's everything ready to be soldered on this small breadboard there. I don't want to solder anything yet because I also need to add some wires to this later on. And rather than add them later on, I'm going to add a couple of them now. So let's just check. Every single connection is used. It's really quite difficult to mess this up. I do need to change the tip, however, on my soldering iron. We've got that nice and clear for the sticky pad, which will go underneath here, because this is how you stick it to the pedal underside. So we've got all that there, so that's all right. So I think we are ready to get this soldered. Okay, yeah, because that's step 1. Take your double stick pad, peel away one side and stick to the bottom of the board. That's it, that will be part 1. Then I'll be moving on to the switch and putting that into the case. So yeah, so that's great. So I'm going to stop the video for now. I'm going to get my soldering iron out. I do have a great soldering iron. I have a Hakko FX 888D, which I'll just grab. Sorry about getting my head in the way. This piece of goodness here is my Hakko. Bought it sometime this year. Great piece of kit. Didn't work that well when I first got it, but I was using my old tips. I didn't have proper Hakko tips. Went and bought proper Hakko tips. They fit the iron a lot better. And this now is the best soldering iron I've ever had. So I'm going to get that all set up, do a little bit of soldering, then I will bring you back in. All wired together, just want to show my handiwork. And I'm not the world's greatest solder by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that there looks pretty good. Quite neat. Nothing to complain about here. Could do a little bit more solder maybe on that connection, but I've got to use those connections again anyway. So quite pleased with how that's gone. Looks pretty nice. Everything's done correctly. And move on to the next part. A couple of mini bonuses here. The bag that the screws for the pedal came in. And I'm going to use for placing these. These are basically the cut lugs of the resistors and diodes and whatever, or capacitors I've already used. And I can use these for little jumper leads, you know, on 5-way, 3-way switches on guitars, because it's good quality lead. It's nice and stiff, and I'm going to keep hold of that so I can go in my electricals box. And right, I've got the switch installed, nice feeling switch. Just going to make sure that's tight. This is where my guitar tools come in handy. I've got my knob puller and tightener there, and that'll work perfect just for that. And that is in. That's still turning around a little bit, but it ain't going to turn around any great shakes. I don't want to turn this too much because I don't want to start splaying the plastic and spreading that out or knackering the thread on anything. But that is, it's still moving. Shouldn't be moving at all, but that will be sturdy enough What I've got to do next is I've got to put the breadboard inside the pedal. Very close. Just have a look at the wiring in there, because it might be easier. I'm having to solder quite a few wires to this breadboard again. And it might be easier to solder the wires onto the breadboard before I put it in the pedal. Just makes more sense to me. I'm going to need a wire, bear with me a second, on this lug here and on this lug there, top right as you look at, well, top left as you look at it, bottom right. So it may be easy for me to just sort those wires out, get them soldered onto that breadboard out of the pedal itself. Just going to make sure, just going to go and see how many more wires I do need to solder to that board. 3, 4, there's a purple one and a pink one. So I do believe that might, I'm hoping that'll be it. I think it's just all 4 corners. No, there are more. Just makes sense for me to get all those wires soldered on there. Otherwise it's going to get too complicated. I don't want to be soldering stuff while it's inside here. It's going to be a lot easier to solder on with this outside. So I think I'm going to crack on and do that now. Let me just have a look there. Make sure there's nothing going on that far side. I don't think there is. Just got to bear with me a few seconds. And that seems to be it. So I'm going to solder all the wires I need on here. I'm going to do outside of the pedal. So I'm going to actually skip by these instructions. I'm going to skip through, make sure I've got every wire connected to that. Then I will go and fit it inside. And all the wires I need fixing to something else, like going here or down here, will already be cut to length and will already be soldered to the breadboard. It means I haven't got to get a soldering iron in there and faff about. I don't want to be doing that. In fact, I'd have rather got them all fixed on there before I even soldered anything up. Anyway, it's just my way of doing things. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to jump forward a little bit just with the wiring, but anything complicated I'm going to come back and show you how I do it, or at least show you when I've soldered it. I will bring you back in and show you how I achieved the result I got. So there seems to be a shed load of wire, which is fantastic news, because if you make any mistakes, you are going to have plenty left to rectify those mistakes. So I'm going to grab, first piece I'm going to want, for going from a breadboard to the switch, is a 4cm piece of green. So I'm going to cut these to length. Just get some cutters. Don't really need a rule, to be honest, but I am going to use one just for argument's sake. I have one knocking about somewhere. And I'll just zonk this here on the table, and all I need to do really is just get, it's the same 4cm, so I can get something close to 4cm, like so, like that. And stripping the ends, I do have plenty of wire strippers. I'm going to use my trusty Jake my ones. I do actually have some from Stumac, which are probably better, but I don't have the exact gauge of this wire, so I'm just going to play by it here. It says to only snip about 4mm. That wasn't right cutter. So there you go. I'm going to just take off a strip about 4mm from the end there. Can you see that? There we go, and same again. Just a little amount. Give it a little twist. We're going to tin this, obviously. I do have my helping hands available, which is here. I can just dip a bit of solder each end, just have that set like so. And just dob a little bit of solder on there. I'm not using my totally pointed tip. This, I believe, is a 2mm chisel tip, which is what I'm using today. I'm just going to dob a little bit of solder, just a little bit of tinning on there. Probably is. There you go. Just going to tin these ends ever so slightly. So if you can't see anything, if my hand's in the way. There you go. That's nice. And I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to basically do all my wire to length. So I'm going to just scroll and see how many bits of wire I need, and I need to take a piece of orange, 5cm length. So I'm going to get all this cut and tinned every single piece I need. And then once that's all done, I'm going to attach it to the breadboard where it needs to be attached, and then I'll leave it all loose and we can attach it to the places it needs to go. I'm not going to show all of that. I want to update you on the method of me soldering the wires to the breadboard, and I'm doing all the wiring on the breadboard out of the box or out of the case. It shows you to do it on the iPad, do it all while it's in the case. I don't want to do that because I don't want to be touching things I don't want to be touching, so I'm just soldering on and moving forwards. Like for instance, I need now a purple wire cut to 10 centimeters, so I'm going to grab a purple, again cut to 10, and I'll just bear with me a second, I've got my clippers in the way there. I mean, it can be just a little bit over 10, maybe even a little bit under, but I like to do things right. Strip 2 or 3 mil off the ends there, just give them a little twist. And I'm going to need this one going on the back of the board next to the ground, so it's going to go on B1. That's right. Tells you to tin the end slightly. You can do that by just getting a little bit of solder on the tip and just rolling round. You should be fine with that. And all I'm going to do is get some good heat on them. We should be able to just wang this straight in. So we're just going to melt this solder. It took a little while for it to melt, but I think it's just about melting now, and all we're going to do is stick that bit in, get some heat transference on there, and we should have a good connection, and that is a perfect connection. Again, nice and neat. So I'm going to crack on, keep doing that, make sure I've got every wire I need on this breadboard on there before I place this inside. I think I'm doing everything right there, all looks pretty good. Move on to the next one. I now need a red wire on A2. Oh, I haven't got the orange on that one yet, so A2 is there. I'm going to turn the breadboard round to get that one on, I think. So again, just show you my work. One on there, one on there, one on there. That's all I need on the breadboard this side, so I can now turn it round. Secured in the hands-free doofus. What do you call these things? Open hands. Getting the helping hands there. I need the red one on this lug here. Pretty difficult to get to. I'm going to just pull these back out of the way. And I need red wire, 5 centimetre piece. For those of you who don't know, 5 centimetres is 2 inches. That needs to go on this lug here. So again, strip a couple of mil off the end. Little twist. Like I say, this is my first pedal build, so I'm taking my time. Not giving myself a time limit. I'm not going for any records. Not bothered about time, to be honest with you. What I need to do is make sure I get some heat in here. I mean, I could add a little more solder in there, because as long as I get a connection, that's all that matters. But I would like these wires to actually go through the lug itself. Rather than just be tacked onto there. I don't like tacking stuff on, I want to get it right in. Imagine how much more difficult this would have been had I had this in the case. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this in. I don't think there's a hole there. I might just solder this underneath. Again, which would not be a problem. I don't like how that's connected. I'm just going to remove that and do that again. because all this is really doing is melting the plastic coating, and I don't like that. So I'm going to be patient, get the solder flowing, like so, and then I should be able to get that, should be able to find a hole for that to go into. And I can't at the moment, so unless I'm happy with that connection, I will undo it. Right, that's good. I've got a good connection there. Again, not how I would have liked it to have been. I'd like to poke through a little bit more, but we do have a good connection. And that's what it's all about. As long as it's not coming off and it's not a cold joint, that's absolutely fine. Phone's gone a bit mental, so I'm going to go and check the messages on my phone. Happy with that, it's on there. So to make things easier for myself, I've soldered all the wires I needed to solder to the breadboard out of the case or out of the box, because I didn't want to be soldering to these places with this stuck inside there, because I'd have just made a mess of everything, and it's much easier having it all now done. So all these wires will reach their destination. They are all wired in this solder. There's one little bit of extra chunky solder I used on the black connections here, where it came to the red ones and I wasn't quite able to get them all the way through. I actually soldered one underneath, but I have fantastic connections all the way through on this, and that can now go inside the box there, or inside the what do you call them, enclosure. So I'm just going to check where I need to get it, where I need to put it, and which way around it needs to go. And I already know which way it needs to go. So we are going to go straight in there, going to try and get it central next to the switch, and I'm going to push it down into place. And there you go, that is in there. And it's pretty much, it's almost central, but that is in there. All the connections are right, all the wires reach their destinations. I am going to tin these wires at the ends. I've not done these ends yet, but all will come over the side there, so I'm able to tin everything. Hopefully that reaches the pot it needs to go on. I'm sure it will do. So yeah, really pleased with how that's going so far. I'm going to crack on, look at the instructions, see what I need to do next. I'm going to take, now I've got all these wires on here, I can go back to section 2, start at section 2, which is going to be this green wire. We're going to solder the orange wire, and we're going to take it from there. Now showing with the switch installed, up down switch, 2 capacitors on there, one each end. It tells you with the instructions you get on this pedal which goes where. You will have the 10 NF capacitor at the top, and the one at the bottom will be, I'll tell you in a second, 4.7 NF. 2 grey wires, it shows you where they go. One we've already got soldered to the breadboard, makes it a lot easier already soldered to the breadboard. We've just got to come in and put it on that lug there. So we've got the 2-way switch all assembled. So now we're going to be looking at getting the pot, the LED, the jacks, and the power connector in there. So give me a few more minutes to check my instructions. Like I say, first build for me, this first pedal I've ever built, so I really am taking my time. I think it says experienced user should have this built in about an hour. I think I've been about 3 hours so far, but I am taking my time, just seeing where I am according to these instructions. Grey wire, left middle lug on the foot switch. So I just need to solder this grey wire to this middle lug on the foot switch, and then that is this switch done, the breadboard done, and ready to move on to the next part. Just adding solder to all solder lugs as directed in the instructions, so just a little. I'm going to put the soldering iron through. Just a little solder on there. bit more on the first one, and I'll show you exactly where I'm at. What you do is get that soldering iron just behind the lug there, drop in some solder, and there you go. Have a look at the pot there, got solder on each of the lugs, so I'm going to install that next. Just follow my instructions, but now I've got all these wires, I'm going to follow by the letter. There is no holding thing there, grub screw or washer. I thought there would be on this, but you know, can only go with what we have. So I'm just installing onto the case.
Low battery, please charge.
Typical. That's my Bluetooth battery for my iPad. Forgot all about it. It actually should be charging. It just really does slip out now and again. How embarrassing. This is a piece of kit I want just to tighten the screw, and I don't want to be turning the pot round in the case, so just make sure we're straight-ish. I've got a little bit further than I want to. I don't like soldering in the case. I like to get my soldering done out of the case, but we're not able to now, we're on this part. Trying to stop that pot from spinning round, and I haven't. Let's have a look where we are. That is close enough to where we need it to be. So we have the pot in there. So the next part of the process will be getting the wires onto the pot. So let me just move on. Right, purple wire. This one will be going on the first lug. Pink wire on lug 2. Red wire, short red wire. Oh, it says 5 cm. Oh my gosh. Which one's a 5? One's a 5, one's a 4. There's the 5. That's it. That's fine. As long as I know that the 5 and the 4 are going to different places. Just check this one. Oh, 6 cm length. Okay, so we should have a 6 and a 5. Well, the 6 will be going there. So that'll be the 5. Yeah, there's the 5. I know where we're going. I know where we're going. The shorter red wire will be going to, bear with me, lug 3, there. Purple wire will be going to lug 1, and pink wire will be going to lug 2. So I'm going to get that done. I'll come back and show you when that's done. Certainly making headway now. I've got the knob on the pot, we've got the switch working, and the on-off switch there. So that's all looking good from the front. From the back, still got these 3 wires to connect to wherever. Plenty more wires to connect to here. I'm sorry, let me get central. So there you go, you're getting a better idea of how we're looking now. I've got these 2 black wires still to do, and the red wire, these are all to the breadboard. That means that once these 3 are done, the breadboard's finished. We still have a few wires to connect to the on-off switch. So all looking pretty good. Just want to show what solder I'm using. I looked high and low for a decent solder. This is the one I went with. Rosin core solder wire. It contains lead, which I use. It's 0.7mm. I think this was for the roll. It was about, I think it was about 16, 17 quid. Might have been a bit more, I don't know. But it's 500 grams here, half a kilo. That will last me a long time. It's great solder, works really well. You don't need any flux with it. It's got some built in, 0.2% I believe. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Now I've got the power connector installed. 2 wires from the breadboard there. They're going straight up, one side. So all I've really got to put in now are the 2 jacks, which are here. Again, not a difficult job. And wire, whatever wires need to come from the jacks to the switch, on-off switch. I also have a jumper wire to put for the true bypass, which I believe is 1 wire between these 2 lugs here. I may show a little bit of that. When I get to doing this bit, I'm actually going to show a little bit more of the work. I'm no great electronics expert, far from it. It's not around the crap solder. I'm not a crap solder at all. I'm pretty good at soldering. It's just, you know, this is a learning phase for me, so I'm taking my time with it. Yeah, so I'm going to get the jacks in now, and I'll come back and give you an update shortly. And I'm all done. Just got the jacks in. Last thing I had to do was this jumper between these two pins here, and it showed on the diagram to use a wire, but this is why I saved these little stubs or little bits from the resistors and capacitors, whatever, because I just used one of them, bent it round, and I use that as a little jumper in there. So that is the pedal all wired up. I hope you think that's nice and neat. It's the first time I've done one. I'm quite pleased with how it's gone. Don't know if it works yet, not tried it, but I'm going to get the back on, get a guitar out and give it a little go, and then I'll come back, let you know what it's like, let you know what I think, and we'll finish this video off. So there you go, guys. Pedal works great. I had got a couple of wires wrong way around on the output jack there, going to the amp, and wondered why it wasn't working. I realised, I thought it's got to be one of the jacks. I've switched it round and I've had it plugged in. It works absolutely fine. I've put the sticker on there, just about to put the back on now, and I'll move the camera and I'll finish off this video. There we are, guys, and the pedal is all done, and what a fine pedal it is. My first build, or first proper build from scratch. It's been fun doing it, a bit of a learning curve as well. And what can I say? I'm not doing a demo of it, but what can I say about it? Well, it does exactly what I expected a booster to do. And this is not just a treble booster, it's got two modes. It's got treble booster or full. So a full spectrum of sound it will boost, or just a treble. Both settings are fantastic. It really does everything I thought it might do. Like, for instance, I bought this because I'd seen the Brian May using a booster and seen what it did to his sound, and I kind of wanted to get that effect, and this does it exactly. It just really is that good. So I doubt very much I'll use this, so it's not going to go on my board, but it's a good little pedal to have just to play about with and have some fun with, and that's what I'm going to do with it. So I might sell it, I might not, I don't know. You can buy these £60 built up, or £30 for the kit. They're on eBay. So BC Dallas treble booster. Go and have a look. If I sell this, I'll let you know, and if you want to buy it, you know, I'm sure it can work absolutely fine. I know I've soldered everything pretty well, and yeah, great little thing. So that's it, first pedal build. Quite enjoyed doing it. Might build some more, might not, don't know. Probably would build a few more. Just for fun, but yeah, great thing. So that's that done. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just want to remind you about my website, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Victor, I'm your fret friend, and until the next project, as always, God bless you, be good to each other. I'll see you in the next one.